Nityananda Mahajan. Nadia Gojum Nityananda Mahajan. Patiya Chinam Hat Jibera Karan. Patiya Chinam Hat Jibera Karan. Shradhavan Jana Hai, Shradhavan Jana Hai. Shradhavan Jana Hai, Shradhavan Jana Hai. Prabhu Agai Bhai Magiye Bhikha. Prabhu Agai Bhai Magiye Bhikha. Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shika. Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Koro Krishna Shika. Aparara Shunna Hai Loho Krishna Naam. Aparara Shunna Hai Loho Krishna Naam. Krishna Mato Krishna Pito Krishna Dana Pran. Krishna Mato Krishna Pito Krishna Dana Pran. Krishna Samsara Koro Chariyana Cham. Krishna Samsara Koro Chariyana Cham. Vivedoya Krishna Nam Sarva Dharma Sham. Vivedoya Krishna Nam Sarva Dharma Sham. Shradhavan Jana Hai, Shradhavan Jana Hai. Shradhavan Jana Hai, Shradhavan Jana Hai. Nadia Gojum Nityananda Mahajan. Nadia Gojum Nityananda Mahajan. Patiya Chinam Hat Jibera Karan. Patiya Chinam Hat Jibera Karan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we will read from Sri Chaitanya Mangala. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। So, continuing to read from Caitanya Mangala, March 9th, 2023. So, yesterday we heard that Lord Narada Muni, Narada Muni leaves Dwaraka. Lord Krishna tells him to spread the message that he will soon advent as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and he should broadcast this to the different parts of the world. So he comes to Kailash, Lord Shiva. And there, this another, sorry, firstly he goes to Uddhava, and then the Katha of Mahaprasadam begins there at the end of meeting with Uddhava. And then yesterday we heard how Narada received the Mahaprasada from Lakshmi Devi. He was persisting in Lakshmi Devi for many, many years if he could get Narayana's Mahaprasadam. And finally she obliges, and the Lord tells her that, yeah, okay, you made a mistake in promising Narada my Mahaprasadam, but you can just offer it to him when I'm not seeing. Yeah. And so Narada receives the Mahaprasadam. He goes into ecstasy, and then he comes to Lord Shiva. So this whole, now the pastime is he's narrating this to Shiva. Mm. And of course, he also tells Lord Shiva about Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Yeah. So I'll read here. Okay, after some days had passed, Mother of the Universe, Lakshmi, gave me some of Lord Narayana's Mahaprasada remnants. I honored the Mahaprasada to my full satisfaction. Of course, the incomparable effulgence of Lord Narayana's transcendental form defeats the combined billions of millions and millions of moons and suns, and his indescribable beauty puts millions of cupids to shame. Yet, by the touch of the Lord's Mahaprasada, my own effulgence and spiritual potency has increased 100 times. Feeling intense spiritual ecstasy, I chanted Hare Krishna and played my veena as I traveled to Kailash to see you. Lord Shiva said to Narada Muni, I must say, Narada, you look extraordinary. Tell me, why do you appear so spiritually surcharged and effulgent? After hearing Narada describe his experiences, Lord Shiva scolded him. Narada, after getting the Lord's Mahaprasada, which is rarely attained, you ate it all yourself without offering any to me. Out of affection, you have come to see me, but why didn't you bring any of this rare treasure? The effect of Mahaprasada on Lord Shiva. Hearing Shiva's statements of dissatisfaction, Narada hung his head in shame. Then Narada remembered that he had still had a morsel of Mahaprasada. It's like Krishna and Draupadi in the forest, Durvasa Muni. Then Narada remembered that he still had a morsel of Mahaprasada. With great delight, he quickly gave it to Mahesha. Immediately, Lord Shiva ate the Mahaprasada. Then, to everyone's surprise, Mahesh, Lord Shiva, began dancing uncontrollably in the joyous ecstasy of love of God. The earth trembled under the pounding of his feet. Everyone became amazed, seeing Mount Sumeru rocking back and forth in ecstasy due to Shiva's powerful dance. Vasundhara, Vasumati, Mother Earth was also rocking dangerously. Overcome by the bliss of pure love of Krishna, Lord Shiva totally forgot himself. His devastating dance threatened to drive the Earth planet down to Rasathala, the bottom of the universe. The hood of Anantadeva was stretching back to the point of touching the back of Kurma. Startled by this strange tickling sensation, Kurma poked his head out of his shell and stared at Ananta. Lord Shiva's loud and euphoric roaring of the Lord's holy names bounced off the dome-like covering of the universe, reverberating throughout the 10 directions. Seeing the whole universe shaking in ecstasy and unable to tolerate the weight of Shiva's dancing, Mother Bhumi ran to Mount Kailash. Oh, actually, Narada Muni Bachaya Vina would have been a good song today, and we will hear it tomorrow. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a bhajan in that, even about Lord Shiva's and Brahma's dancing and all that is there. Maybe tomorrow. Seeing the whole universe shaking in ecstasy and unable to tolerate the weight of Shiva's dancing, Mother Bhumi ran to Mount Kailash. With folded hands, Mother Bhumi appealed to Goddess Katyayani. Parvati Devi, please, I will die if your husband keeps on dancing. I see that the whole material world is also in great danger. So you better do something if you want to save the creation from destruction. After hearing Mother Bhumi's plea, Parvati rushed to the place where Pashupati, Shiva, the Lord of the living entities, was dancing in a trance of divine ecstasy. Folded hands, Parvati Devi spoke some harsh words to break Lord Shiva's absorption. His ecstasy broken by Parvati's strong words, Lord Shiva regained external consciousness. Feeling very sad, he said, Devi, what you just did is not proper. Why did you interrupt my ecstasy? By doing so, you have practically killed me. You're acting like my enemy. I've never tasted so much bliss before in my whole life. Why did you stop it? Feeling great distress, the Parvati Devi spoke again with doleful words. My lord, just see the earth before you. The weight of your dancing has pushed her down to the bottom of the universe. Because you're threatening to destroy the universe, I spoke such strong words to you. Please forgive me for my offense. With a smile of satisfaction, Lord Shiva pardoned his wife. Seeing her husband in a relaxed mood, Parvati humbly asked him a question. Prabhu, every day you dance in the ecstasy of pure Krishna consciousness. Why is it that today your dancing has pushed the earth down to Rasathala? Your spiritual effulgence is as brilliant as 10 million suns. I've never seen you exhibit such a magnificent form. Please tell me, why is it today that you displayed such unlimited rapture in Krishna Prema? So the combination of the holy name and Lord Shiva replied, Devi, listen to the joyful news of my good fortune today. Good fortune. Today, the great sage Narada gave me some of Lord Narayana's Mahaprasadam. Although glorified in the Vedas, Vishnu's Mahaprasada is inconceivably rare. In all three worlds, it is very difficult to get the Lord's remnants, which are mixed with the nectar of Krishna's lips. Today, my life is a success. How do we, when do we think that it is mixed with nectar of Krishna's lips? We don't. Today, my life is a success. By the mercy of Narada Muni, I received Lord Narayana's Mahaprasada. This is my real wealth and the source of my ecstasy. Now Lord Shiva is going to get it. Noticeably disturbed by her husband's statement, Parvati said, for all this time, I thought that you were always kind and merciful to me. As husband and wife, we are one. for you have accepted me as half your body. But today your false love is revealed. It's all just pretension. You cheated me. After getting that rarely attainable Mahaprasada, you ate it all yourself. You didn't even give me a speck of it. Shulapani, Shiva, the holder of the trident, feeling slightly guilty, not much, feeling slightly guilty, said, "Oh, Bhavani, you have no right, eh? Oh, Bhavani, Parvati, goddess of the material energy, you have no right to receive this transcendental wealth." Oh, okay. Obviously, these words inflamed Parvati with furious anger. Parvati said, "One of my names is Vaishnavi, and I also have devotion for Lord Vishnu. Now, before this assembly, I make a solemn vow. If Lord Narayana bestows his compassion upon me, I will make sure that the Lord's Mahaprasada is distributed to everyone throughout the universe, even to the dogs and jackals." At that moment, the Lord of Vaikuntha, Vishnu himself, arrived in Kailash to uphold Parvati's promise. Respectfully, Parvati stood up and offered obeisances to the Lord. With tears in her eyes, she let out a sigh and told her problem to the world. In a joyful mood, Ailochan Das narrated this story. Okay, so this is Vishnu Kachayani Samvada, conversation between Vishnu and Kachayani Devi. So still Murari Gupta is speaking to Damodar Pandit. Then Lord Vishnu spoke in a sweet voice. "Kachayani, don't be in ignorance. You are my Adi Shakti, and through you I manifest the entire material creation. I know that you have devotion for me. You are my Prakriti Swarupini, the form of Vishnu's energy. You always engage in my devotional service. Without you, the material creation can't exist. The whole creation worships you and your husband, Lord Shiva, as Hara, and Gauri, knowing that you both are my very self. And Gauri, knowing that you both are my very self. Pleasing you removes the misconception that you and Lord Shiva are different from me. Please be assured I will keep your promise. I will personally distribute my Mahaprasada anyone in the universe. Lord Jagannath ki jai. I will personally distribute my Mahaprasada to everyone in the universe. Lord Vishnu, the possessor of all jewel-like qualities, continued speaking. "Listen, Kachayani Devi. Now I'll tell you a secret about an ancient episode." Oh my God. Now, hopefully, it's just like going back and back and back. Now I'll tell you about a secret about an ancient episode which will alleviate the miseries of the material world. No one knows the inner meaning of the story concerning the demigod's churning of the ocean of nectar. Okay. They used Mandara mountain as the churning rod and Vasuki, the king of snakes, as the rope. The first object they produced from churning was a kalpataru, a tree which gives unlimited wealth and fulfills all a person's desires. Within that special tree, there was a transcendental effulgence emanating from the beautiful form of Lord Chaitanya, the supreme embodiment of pure mercy. So Lord Vishnu is telling Kachayani, there has never been a form or incarnation equal to the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the fountainhead of all incarnations. He will appear in the world, displaying his transcendental pastimes. By preaching Krishna consciousness, I will distribute my mercy to the people in general. In the age of Kali, I will manifest the golden form of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, propagate the Sankirtana movement, congregational chanting of my holy names. Taking the form of the golden avatar, I will fulfill your vow, Parvati, and give love of Krishna to everyone. Please keep this confidential. Topic secret. In the form of Lord Gauranga, the essence of all incarnations and full of all transcendental qualities, I will deliver all people in Kali Yuga. So obviously, this Mahaprasada means the big favor. So it's not just, food that is offered to the Lord. So it has a deeper import. So Mahaprabhu, Vishnu is telling Kachayani that I will distribute my mercy, my prasada freely. in the form of the holy name, in the form of Mahaprasadam even, and the Vaishnavas, and the scriptures, etc. Okay, so Lord Vishnu is telling Katyayani about Gauranga. The preceding conversation between Lord Vishnu and Parvati Devi, which is called the Vishnu Katyayani Samvada, was taken from the Padma Purana. King Prataparudra, who was an ocean of transcendental qualities, distributed these teachings throughout his empire. Okay. Narada Muni continued talking to Lord Shiva. Mahesha, the Lord ordered me to announce his upcoming appearance in Kali Yuga. At that time, the Lord and his eternal associates will descend to earth to remove all calamities. The Supreme Lord in the form of Lord Gauranga will appear in a Brahmana family. Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi became happy after hearing the good news from Narada. Bliss filled the home of Lord Shiva as everyone loudly chanted the holy names of the Lord. Sounds of Hari Hari vibrated everywhere. Playing sweetly on his veena, Narada Muni left Mount Kailash. Okay, so Narada came to Kailash. Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the advent of Gauranga Mahaprabhu was talked about, and this whole Mahaprasada story also. Now Narada visits Brahmaloka. As he traveled, a stream of nectarian melodies rose from his veena. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has captured all this in his bhajan. Narada Muni Bajai Vina Radhika Ramana Name. So there he's talking about Lord Shiva also, he's dancing. Brahma with his four heads, he's dancing. So we can hear that tomorrow. As he traveled, the stream of nectarian melodies rose from his veena, enchanting the ears of the three worlds. Losing external consciousness, Narada couldn't walk properly and his face turned red due to love. Although unaware of his fatigue, when he arrived in Brahmaloka, he was covered with drops of perspiration. Seeing his son in this condition, Lord Brahma had mixed feelings of concern and happiness as he welcomed the great sage. Narada offered respects to Brahma, his father and spiritual master. In a fatherly mood, Brahma lifted him up, embraced him, and asked about his well-being. Different rasas. Lord Brahma said, Narada, I feel immensely satisfied. Behold your beautiful face. Please fill my ears with the nectar of your words. Hearing you will soothe my heart. Where have you been? Whom have you met? And what have you experienced? Before Narada could answer, his body began trembling in transcendental ecstasy. Tears flooded his eyes and his face reddened with feelings of joy. Then Narada said, Brahma, listen to a wonderful story. You are the creator of everything, and the name Brahmanda comes from your name. According to the characteristics of each yuga, each age, the people follow a particular type of dharma. In Kali Yuga, people are extremely sinful. At the end of Dwapara Yuga, people were full of sorrow and lamentation. They became afraid of the upcoming age of Kali. The situation pained me so much that I went straight to the Lord. I boldly asked him about the deliverance of the people in Kali Yuga. I told him I was worried because the Brahmanas are not following the Vedas. As a result, the people have very little inclination for religious principles. On hearing my words of distress, the Lord, who is full of all transcendental qualities, said, Narada, to deliver the people in this age of Kali, I will personally descend and preach the science of devotional service. The benefits one derives from charity, sacrifice, austerity, and religious activities will automatically come simply by doing Harinama Sankirtana. The Lord continued, Narada, Kalir Dosha Nidheraj, and although the age of Kali is full of faults, just by chanting my holy names, one will obtain freedom from material existence. Now please go to the abodes of Brahma, Shiva, and the others. Tell them to take birth on Kali Yuga on earth, and in the form of Lord Gauranga, the embodiment of compassion, I will also descend. On hearing Narada's description, a seed of sweet love sprouted within the heart of Lord Brahma. Brahma Brahmanda Pramite Kona Kalkivanji Bhakti Lata Bija. On hearing Narada's description, a seed of sweet love sprouted within the heart of Lord Brahma. He became overwhelmed with love of God. Tears streamed down his cheeks. Brahma picked up Narada and placed him on his lap. At that time, Lord Brahma said, "Oh, my dear sage, your mercy fills my heart with pleasure. People are blinded by sense gratification and ignorance of the truth. By your mercy, they will become free from Maya's clutches. Delivering fallen people is your only activity. Please listen attentively. I want to tell you about a recent experience." So, anyway, Lord Shiva, he comes as Advaita Acharya, Sadashiva, and Mahavishnu is Advaita Acharya. Lord Brahma, he comes as Haridas Thakur. So Brahma is telling him some experience. Some time ago, my sons like Sanaka and the other sages came here to reveal their minds. They said, "Lord Brahma, you are the dear son of the Lord. Please give some brief answers to our questions." Then those sages glorified the qualities of Lord Vishnu. Anyway, this is just ecstasy, story within a story within a story, just Krishna Katha. The sages said, "The Lord is inconceivable, inexhaustible, and eternally blissful. He is full of spiritual energy, very subtle, and the controller of all controllers. He is all pervading and the very form of religion. The Lord is unlimited and devoid of any material qualities. He is free from all contamination and has no material form. He has no beginning, middle, or end. This can be realized only by pure consciousness." The sages continued, "Although unborn, the Lord seems to take birth in the material nature. Lord Krishna relished transcendental rasa with the gopis in Vrindavan. He acted just like an ordinary man, enjoying conjugal affairs. So everyone knows that the Lord is the true Atma of all living entities, whether man or woman. So we want to know why the Lord disturbs our minds by performing such unusual pleasure pastimes. O Brahma, please dispel our doubts by telling us the truth." Lord Brahma said to Narada, "Oh Narada, please listen attentively. Hearing the doubts of the sages filled my heart with anxiety. I became morose because I also could not fathom the mystery of the Lord's transcendental sports. Literally, there are hundreds of Brahmas like me who don't understand this subject. These truths lie far beyond the knowledge of Vedanta." While as I was expressing my heart like this, the Lord manifested a wonderful form before me. He appeared as the Hamsa Avatara. Lord Hamsa said, "Lord Brahma, the solution to the serious question appears in the Chaturshloki verse of the verses. I will now disclose this to you." Okay. Lord Brahma continued. So this Hamsa Avatara spoke the Chaturshloki. Lord Brahma continued, "Narada, I must tell you that the Chaturshloki are the very source of all my bliss. No one in the universe knows the truth about this. For many days, Srila Vyasadeva stayed in Naimisharanya describing the Mahabharata and the Puranas. After explaining these subjects, Vyasadeva still felt morose. Overcome by bewilderment, he didn't know what to do. In the middle of the jungle, he also lost external consciousness. Understanding his difficulty, the Lord became compassionate. Summoning me, the Lord spoke the nectarian Chatushloki, and then he ordered me to give this transcendental treasure to Vyasa. At that time, the Lord said, it's slightly different. So Narada, he came and he told him to compose Bhagavatam. Okay, that's good. And so it seems the four Chatushloki were given to first Vyasadeva. At that time, Lord said, "Brahmaji, Vyasadeva doesn't know the inner meanings of my pastimes. Give him these four verses and let him write the Srimad Bhagavatam based on these shlokas. Then speak the Bhagavata to Narada Muni, on whose tongue the goddess Saraswati always resides. Tell Narada that in every yuga he is the most merciful to all the living entities." Are you very clear what's going on? Let me again. Yeah. So the Chatur Kumaras have some question. So they are asking Brahma to enlighten them. Brahma is saying, although I have hundreds of heads, but I myself can't understand the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. So when he was in that predicament, Hamsa Avatara, Lord Vishnu himself came and he spoke the Chaturshloki to Brahma. Okay, so far so good. Then, and then he says, nobody understands the Srimad Bhagavatam or the Chaturshloki, but I gave them to Vyasadeva, the request of Lord Vishnu. Yeah, so Vyasadeva received the Chaturshloki from Brahma. At that time, the Lord said, Brahmaji, Vyasadeva doesn't know the inner meaning of my pastimes. Give them these four verses. Give him these four verses and let him write the Srimad Bhagavatam based on the shloka. Then speak the Bhagavata to Narada Muni. Okay, Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, the whole parampara is still intact. Then speak the Bhagavata to Narada Muni, on whose tongue the goddess Saraswati always resides. Tell Narada that in every yuga he is the most merciful to the living entities. Lord Brahma continued. Narada. So, what are we hearing? Anyway, it's quite interesting. So, first, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the holy name. Second, the Mahaprasadam. And third, Srimad Bhagavatam. The three things that Srila Prabhupada brought to the West. Lord Brahma continued. Narada, no other scripture compares with the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's completely transcendental. Narada, you should teach the Bhagavata in order to deliver all living entities. There is no other subject in the Bhagavata except the glorification of the supremely independent Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. Anyone who misunderstands this point is a fool. So there you go. So Bhagavatam is now established by Murari Gupta, Damodar Pandit. Okay, and now the Bhagavata is the Pramana, the Yoga avatars. So now we are getting into the section where verses from Srimad Bhagavatam will be quoted. Garabhajana Muni and this and that. Very nice. Okay, just a few more minutes. The Yoga avatars. I hope people are with me and I've not lost them. The Yoga avatars. So essentially, as I said again, the holy name, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the holy name, Gauranga, holy name, Mahaprasada, Srimad Bhagavatam, and now based on Bhagavatam, the Yuga avatars. Narada, now I remember some Bhagavata verses spoken by Garga Muni at the time of Lord Krishna's name-giving ceremony on earth. Garga Muni described that in different yugas or ages, the Lord appears on the earth in various incarnations. Garga Muni said in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:8:30. Yeah, I remember now that you're telling me that Lord will come. Oh, yeah. Your son, Krishna, appears in incarnation in every millennium. In the past, he assumed three different colors, white, red, and yellow, and now he has appeared in blackish color. In another Dwapar Yuga, he appeared. Okay, anyway. He appeared as Lord Ramachandra as the color of Shuka, a parrot. All such incarnations will not confuse ourselves. We usually are accustomed to understanding Lord Rama appearing in Treta Yuga. Anyway, Lord Ramchandra appeared in the color, greenish color. All such incarnations have now assembled in Krishna. What Brahma said. Some people question the break in the usual sequence of the four yugas. They think that the Lord appeared in the four yugas in only three colors. In reality, there are only four colors, white, red, yellow, and black, and four yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. Please consider which age Lord Gauranga belongs to. For the benefit of ignorant people, I will now explain this by quoting various verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, this is just a small nuance. I also don't understand it properly fully. So apparently the normal sequence, Padmanabh, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The normal sequence usually is Satya, Dwapara, Treta, and Kali. Yeah, Dwapara, I guess, depends on which way you're counting. From the top, Dwapara is second. Accounting from the bottom, Dwapara is third. Anyway, so the normal sequence seems to be Satya, Dwapara, Treta, and Kali. But in this 28th millennium, etc., Vaivashvata, Manu, it seems the sequence is slightly different. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. That's what is being talked about. Anyway, let's not get all confused or mixed up. King Nimi inquired from Karabhajana Muni, in what colors and forms does the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear in each of the different ages? And with what names and what types of regulative principles is the Lord worshipped in society? So now this Karabhajana Muni, we have been his Triteya Dhyayato Vishnu, Tretayam Yujato Makhai, Dwapara Paricharyanam, Kalauta Tarikirtanam. Sri Karabhajana Muni replied, in each of the four yugas or ages, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali, Lord Keshava appears with various complexions, names, and forms, and is thus worshipped by various processes. In Satya Yuga, the Lord is white and four-armed, has matted locks, and wears a garment of tree bark. He carries a black deer skin, a sacred thread, prayer beads, and the rod and water pot of a brahmachari. People in Satyuga are peaceful, non-envious, friendly to every creature, and steady in all situations. They worship the Supreme Personality by austere meditation and by internal and external sense control. In Satya Yuga, the Lord is glorified by the names Hamsa, which we just heard, Suparna, Vaikuntha, Dharma, Yogeshwara, Amala, Ishvara, Purusha, Avyakta, and Paramatma. So anyway, so what we'll do is we'll pause here at 7:40 and we will pick up this up tomorrow, this Yuga Avatars, this chapter. So text 30, sorry, page 32, 33 onwards. We'll do this tomorrow. Thank you. Okay, so just continue to read from Caitanya Mangala, page 32, we reached. So today, mainly, we heard about Narada's journey. He went to Kailash. The whole discussion about Mahaprasada culminated. And again, we understand that this Mahaprasada is obviously not just what we put in our mouth, food that we offer to the Lord and then we partake. That is definitely Mahaprasada. But it literally means mercy of the Lord. So Lord Vishnu, he tells Katshayani that yes, she said, I want your Mahaprasada to even be given to dogs and jackals and everyone. So that can be taken literally. Lord Jagannath also came to give his Mahaprasada to everyone. Or just the holy name and the process of bhakti itself is also Mahaprabhu's Mahaprasada, which is very rare, but he's distributing freely. So we heard that Mahaprasada discussion ended, and then he goes to Lord Brahma, and then he's telling him about Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And then there the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam gets introduced. Brahma is telling Narada that, yeah, actually recently the four Kumaras came and they asked me some questions about the Lord. I myself don't know much. But then Lord Hamsa, he came and he revealed to me the Chaturshloki verses of Bhagavatam. which he asked me to speak to Vyasadeva, who was in Naimisharanya, was compiling all these. We hear it. He had compiled all these things at the juncture of Dwapara and Kali, but he was not feeling satisfied. And the Bhagavatam describes how Narada comes and he tells him to compose one literature, Srimad Bhagavatam. So there's no confusion. But it seems Brahma, Lord Vishnu tells Brahma to go and give Vyasadeva the Chaturshloki. And then Narada tells him to instruct to compose the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is now being described by Murari Gupta and Caitanya Mangala. So the three main weapons of Mahaprabhu, the holy name, Mahaprasadam, and Bhagavatam. And as I was sharing, Srila Prabhupada, he took all of them to the West. He had absolute faith in the words of his spiritual master, and then he carried these three things: Bhagavatam, holy name, and Mahaprasadam. So we'll pause there, see if there is any comments or questions or discussion. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Ramapriya was quoting. Yeah, the usual sequence of the yugas is Satya, Dwapara, Treta, and Kali. And in this 28th yuga cycle, somehow there is a change in the sequence. So it is Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. Okay. Thank you. Anything, any comments, any questions, anything I'm sharing?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, मैं महाप्रसाद जब आपने बोला और जगन्नाथ के बारे में बोला तो मुझे याद आ रहा था कि जगन्नाथ का महाप्रसाद जो है वो फिनिश ही नहीं होता है एक्चुअली कभी। जैसे लोग पार्सल डिवोटीज जाते हैं और वापस जब वो लौटते हैं जगन्नाथपुरी से तो पार्सल लेते हैं महाप्रसाद का, लेकिन वो कभी खत्म ही नहीं होता है, उनके घर पहुंचने तक भी वो अवेलेबल रहता है और इवन वो खराब भी नहीं होता है। तो वो मतलब सबके खाने के बाद में भी वो बचा रहता है। इवन डॉग्स, जैकल्स की बात हो रही थी तो मुझे लग रहा था उसके बाद में भी इवन वो लोग वहां डालते हैं, उसके बाद भी वो बचा रहता है। तो आई वाज फीलिंग कि जो कात्यायनी देवी, पार्वती देवी ने जो इतना बड़ा वाव लिया, उसके कारण सभी को महाप्रसाद मिल रहा है। तो आई वाज फीलिंग वेरी ग्रेटफुल टू पार्वती देवी आल्सो एंड टू लॉर्ड जगन्नाथ महाप्रसाद। थैंक यू वेरी मच प्रभु। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. Yeah, if we just introduce, if people just control their tongue by eating Mahaprasadam, all kinds of material and spiritual diseases will be eradicated, actually. The simple aspect of eating Mahaprasada. Bhakti Siddhanta writes very nicely. Maybe tomorrow we can read something from his about Mahaprasada. Atilda, do you have in that Mahaprasada, the great favor? You may not have time today, but Mahaprasada, yeah. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written, Sharira avidya jal, jodendriya tahe kal, जीवे फेले विषय सागरे तारा मथे जीवा थी लोभो मोय सुधुरमति ताके जेता कठिन संसारे कृष्ण बड़ा दया मोय परी भारे जीवा जाए। तो how will you conquer the tongue? परी भारे जीवा जाए, स्व प्रसाद अन्न दिला भाए, शे अन्नामृत पाओ। Tomorrow tomorrow. The Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written that amongst all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious one. And if the tongue is controlled, then the spiritual life begins. This body is a network of illusion. Sharira, avidya, jal, jodendriya, tahekal. And amongst the senses, the tongue is the most voracious. But Swaprashad Annadilabhai. But the Lord is very merciful. He brought his prasadam, Swaprashada. Oh, my dear brothers, read his Mahaprasadam. Very small thing, but somehow, if people get Mahaprasada, and of course, if they have a daily culture of honoring Mahaprasadam, then slowly, everything, all diseases are eradicated at the root. Anyway, we don't understand it. We take it for granted. We eat Mahaprasadam every day. But we might remember the first times, we started eating Mahaprasadam. And we saw actually changes, miraculous changes. Yeah, we may not have ascertained it to the Mahaprasada, attributed it to Mahaprasada, but it's Mahaprasada. And yeah, I'm sharing personally, Ananda Vrindavan. Yeah, after we got married, of course, I was not a devotee and all that. But I remember for the first 5, 6, 7 months, yeah, whenever, of course, we would eat out and all that, but whenever Ananda Vrindavan, of course, she would cook daily, and then whatever she cooked, she would offer to the Lord at home. And I would eat that. For me, it was just food, but as Prabhupada says, the medicine has an effect, whether you know about it or not. Just like that. So Mahaprasadam, remember Ananda Vrindavan? And of course, we go to the temple once a week.
Yeah. I think we got a lot of mercy from Vaishnavas.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Vaishnavas would come to our
Follow.
house and yeah.
Prabhu, I had a comment / question. Like today when you were reading,
Yeah.
so I don't know whether it's a coincidence or, but I couldn't help notice that when Narad Muni spoke to Lord Brahma, it was about the holy name, right? Whatever verses you read about Narad Muni's, what he speaks with Lord Brahma, or maybe I didn't catch it properly, but he glorifies, the holy name is glorified. And I was thinking when you mentioned that Brahma comes as Haridas Thakur, he's a Namacharya in a way. So I was just wondering whether it's the design of the Lord or it just happened to be that way.
Well, nice question. It is the Lord's desire. See, if we understand all this whole Chaitanya Mangala's description begins with Narada becoming compassionate, right? Narada becoming concerned about the people of the Kali Yuga. He goes to Dwaraka. And then, so he's concerned about the people of Kali. So in one sense, although our parampara is Krishna, Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, and all that. So in this instance, it seems Narada was a spiritual master of Brahma, although he's his son. Because the first words, I think that's what you're referring to. As soon as Narada came and he told him about Gauranga and this holy name, Brahma's, at least the word said that this seed of love, that's what you're referring to, I think, right? The seed of love sprouted in Brahma's heart, this Bhakti Lata Beach. So it seems, as you're saying, it seems in this instance, Narada, he gave that seed to Brahma. And of course, the Lord asks all these demigods to take birth. And the demigods take birth. And Lord Brahma also, after his offense with the Brahma Vimohan Leela, he requests actually the Lord that please allow me to take part in your future pastimes. And because this Brahma's position is, is fraught with, pride and so on and so forth, I want a very humble situation in my next time in your pastimes. I want a humble situation, but please keep me in your pastimes. And the Lord agrees. So sure. And so he comes, as you're saying. So Lord Brahma, he comes as Haridas Thakur in a Muslim family, in a low-born family, where there's nothing to be proud about. And as you're saying, externally it seems, yeah, so it's miraculous, right? As you're saying, from Haridas Thakur's life, early life, he was born in a Muslim family, but somehow he had an attraction to the holy name. How did he have an attraction to the holy name? Who gave him the holy name? As you're saying, it seems Narada may have given it to him before he even came here. Anyway, so it's quite interesting. So in that sense, we can say that this Narada is the sort of the inaugurator, because the Lord tells Narada, right? The Lord tells Narada to go door to door, go to every universe, and you tell them about my coming. You follow? So Narada is like that. He has that position, sort of almost this. Although of course, I'm not saying that Brahma is our Sampradaya Acharya, but here we call ourselves Brahma Madhva. But here in this pastime, Narada is giving Brahma about the holy name. He's talking to him about the holy name. It's almost like the Raghunandan and Mukunda Sarkar. Mahaprabhu asks Mukunda, who is the father? He says, Raghunandan is the father. Through him, I have devotion for you, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So something similar seems to be happening here. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Is that what you're asking? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering. I mean, maybe I should read up that section again. But
Read
it
the section
seems
again.
like Lord Shiva, Narada Muni spoke about Mahaprasadam and the Lord's beauty and all that. But with Brahma, it was very specifically focused on the holy name. That's what I felt. But anyway, I'll read it again and
No,
see.
not
But
necessarily. Somehow the Mahaprasada was sort of, I was also surprised. It was like a kind of a, I guess, kind of a detour. Well, not detour, but initially, because you were not there yesterday. Initially, even Narada tells Lord Shiva about the Mahaprasadam. I'm sorry, about the holy name. The holy name. Yeah. Yeah. And then he's referring to Lord Shiva. The whole Mahaprasadam thing comes up because before he comes to Kailash, he meets Uddhava. You follow? Uddhava is also concerned. Yeah, this is the sequence actually. It's where to follow. These great souls are, these souls are, on the spontaneous platform. We have to sort of follow their thought. It's difficult. Sometimes it doesn't feel logical and all that. So the scene is Narada goes to Uddhava first. He tells him about Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Uddhava is also similarly concerned that, hey, what will happen to the people of Kali? So then Narada tells him, Uddhava, hey, do you remember in Uddhava Gita, when the Lord spoke to you, he quotes one verse about the Mahaprasada, means the paraphernalia. If one wears the garlands that are offered to the deities, you follow? All the paraphernalia of the Lord, if one receives that, then people, will be delivered. So the whole Mahaprasada thing, the prasada of the Lord, it begins from that Uddhava story. And then he comes here to Lord Shiva. He initially tells him about what is the holy name. And then, of course, he's also talking about this, what Uddhava said about this Mahaprasada. And then he talks about his story of Mahaprasadam, how he received Mahaprasadam from Lakshmi Devi, and then some of that Mahaprasadam is given to Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, he's got both the holy name and the Mahaprasadam. So he's dancing in ecstasy. He goes wild. So it's not just the Mahaprasada. Although the emphasis, because in that whole pastime, the emphasis seems to be Mahaprasadam, but he receives both. And then, as I was saying, the sequence. So now with the Brahma, he's also talking about Bhagavatam now. So again, I don't think all this is a coincidence. You follow the holy name, the Mahaprasadam, and the Bhagavatam, the three main weapons for this Kali Yuga. I mean, these people, these devotees are on the spontaneous platform. Their composition is like, wow. He can't understand them on one level. Yeah. Anyway, read carefully. Is that clear to everyone? What's going on? Okay, if there's nothing, when we'll end here. So read it again. Read it again, because I'm rapidly reading. We're at 35 pages, 30 pages. I'm rapidly reading. I have sent it to you. Some of you, if you want, send me a message. If you want, I will. If you will ask me, I'll send it to you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.